Surprising secondary impacts. Glacier loss triggers a cascade of secondary impacts that ripple through ecosystems, economies, and cultures, reshaping the Alps in ways both visible and hidden. These changes carve the landscape like nature's forgotten diaries, revealing stories long buried and creating new, often bizarre, challenges. Geological instability. As ice retreats from slopes it supported for millennia, entire mountainsides become unstable. The 2017 Bondo landslide, where 3 million cubic meters of rock collapsed after warming permafrost lost its adhesive ice, is a stark example. Swiss monitoring systems now record 60% more major rock falls annually compared to 1990s averages. Even the Matterhorn sheds about 1,000 cubic meters of rock yearly, forcing climbing guides to constantly adjust routes. Shifting borders. Melting glaciers redraw national boundaries. The Italy-Switzerland border, once defined by the Lys Glacier, now shifts as the ice splits into separate masses. Surveyors meet biennially to remeasure the frontier, with the 2023 adjustment moving the line 55 meters westward. Similarly, France gains roughly 500 square meters annually as the Glacier d'Argentière retreats, requiring updates to customs posts and avalanche rescue jurisdictions. Unearthed artifacts. Melting ice reveals time capsules from across centuries. A 2020 melt exposed a crashed U.S. military plane near the Golly Glacier, while Roman-era coins surfaced near the Theodule Pass. These discoveries, while fascinating, underscore the dramatic transformation of landscapes where ice once persisted for generations. Ecological shifts. Hydrological changes create strange new ecosystems. The Mossa River below the Aletsch Glacier now runs warm enough for invasive signal crayfish, which outcompete native species. Glacial streams host 50% fewer insect species than in 1980, but Mediterranean species now appear above 1,000 meters. The retreat of the Trift Glacier even created a lake that supports Arctic char, introduced accidentally by anglers' boots. Cultural disruptions. Traditional glacier ski races like Switzerland's Inferno event face cancellations or route changes. The original 1928 course became impassable in 2018. The UNESCO-listed Jungfrau Railway contends with destabilization as the Eiger Glacier's retreat undermines its north wall base. Even alpine art evolves, as the glacier blue pigment once derived from natural glacial flour now requires artificial mixing. Economic oddities. Melting glaciers create unexpected financial challenges. Swiss Re calculates that destabilized slopes increase some insurance risks by 300%. Ski resorts now list glacier assets as depreciating property, with Andermatt reporting a 7% annual decline in glacier value since 2015. The Swiss Federal Inventory classifies 104 glaciers as economically non-viable, where protection costs outweigh benefits. Historical rediscoveries. Closed alpine passes reopen after centuries. The Schneidjoch in the Bernese Alps revealed artifacts from warm periods between 2000 BC and AD 1000, while Norway's Lendbreen Pass yielded Viking trade items. These finds rewrite historical understanding of mountain mobility. Military hazards. Melting ice exposes wartime remnants. French and Swiss bomb disposal teams handled 31 calls last summer to remove live World War II munitions. Austria's Pasteur's Glacier revealed a 1943 fighter cockpit with human remains still strapped inside. The Swiss Army now trains troops to identify and report such dangers. Technological failures. Scientific instruments struggle to adapt. The Swiss Permafrost Monitoring Network reports 12% of sensors rendered useless as ice wedge melt distorts measurements. Glacier monitoring poles installed just 5 years ago now dangle precariously over voids, while satellite calibration suffers as glacier-mounted reflectors require constant repositioning. Microclimate oddities. Localized changes defy expectations. Some north-facing cirques retain cold air so effectively that new, permanent ice forms, confusing long-term monitoring. Elsewhere, ice caves collapse unpredictably, and the Mer de Glaciers' famed ice grotto now requires artificial refrigeration despite sitting atop what was Europe's largest glacier in 1850. These unpredictable consequences reveal how deeply glaciers are woven into the fabric of mountain life. As the ice disappears, it unravels ecosystems, economies, and histories, leaving behind a transformed landscape that challenges our understanding of stability. The melting Alps will impact your life in ways that might surprise you. These changes hit grocery bills, tap water, vacation plans, and even where people choose to live. The glaciers currently providing 40% of Europe's summer fresh water are vanishing faster than predicted, and the effects ripple far beyond mountain villages. Your water costs will rise as utilities adapt. Cities like Lyon and Milan already impose summer water restrictions, with households paying 15 to 20% more during peak drought months. The Rhine River's low water levels in 2022 spiked German water bills by an average of €85 per household, a cost passed directly to consumers. Water-intensive products like beer and bottled beverages face price hikes. Heineken announced a 3% increase last year, specifically citing alpine water scarcity. Supermarket shelves reflect these changes. Italian risotto rice, 90% grown in the glacier-fed Po Valley, now costs 40% more than 5 years ago after repeated drought-reduced harvests. Swiss chocolate producers like Lindt pay premiums for mountain spring water needed for their recipes. Even basics like milk show upward pressure. Alpine dairy regions produced 8% less last summer due to heat-stressed cows and parched pastures. Insurance markets also adjust. German home insurance premiums rose 30% in regions prone to Rhine flooding, while Swiss health insurers added heat stress coverage riders. Travel insurance costs 15% more for alpine trips as companies factor in cancellations from extreme weather. These increases appear on statements as line items like climate adjustment fees, a trend expected to intensify. Real estate markets shift unpredictably. Apartments in water-stressed cities like Stuttgart now sell for less than comparable units in water-secure areas. Conversely, high-altitude properties in the Alps appreciate as buyers seek climate havens. A studio in Zermatt costs 25% more than 5 years ago. Coastal and mountain regions face opposite valuation pressures as environmental changes rewrite desirability calculations. Migration patterns reveal indirect effects. Portuguese construction workers who once summered in Swiss resorts now stay home as projects slow. The Swiss construction sector contracted 12% last year amid climate uncertainty. Meanwhile, wealthy northern Europeans buy alpine properties as summer heat alters living preferences. Valet real estate agents report 30% more German buyers since 2020 seeking cooler residences. Your summer travel plans already adjust. Iconic hikes like the Tour du Mont Blanc reroute annually as glacier passages become unsafe. 2024's edition skips 3 traditional stages. Hotels from Chamonix to St. Moritz install air conditioning. 70% of alpine lodging lacked cooling until recent heat waves. Some ski resorts pivot radically. The Swiss village of Pontresina now markets itself as a climate change classroom, with glacier-loss tours replacing downhill runs. Energy markets transmit alpine impacts to your home. French nuclear plants along the Rhone reduced output 14 times last summer when cooling water grew too warm. Shortfalls replaced by German coal power spiked EU electricity prices €45 per megawatt hour. Swiss hydro dams generate 7% less during critical summer months. That missing clean energy gets replaced by fossil fuels across the grid. Your utility bill shows these substitutions as supply adjustment charges. The ripple effect extends to everyday life. A Swiss dairy farmer, once known for award-winning cheeses, now struggles to maintain production as parched pastures yield less feed for cows. His story mirrors countless others. Small businesses and families adapting to changes they never anticipated. These personal consequences preview larger global shifts. Extreme weather connections become personal. Research links rapid alpine warming to stalled weather systems that caused 2021's deadly European floods. Events now 40% more likely according to ETH Zurich models. Your local flood risk rises even far from mountains as atmospheric patterns shift. Home insurers increasingly require elevation certificates outside traditional flood zones, an unexpected expense for many homeowners. Even recreation changes shape daily routines. Families that skied Swiss resorts for generations now book Spanish Pyrenees trips instead. Package tour prices rose 18% as demand shifts southward. Hikers buy different gear, sturdier boots for unstable trails, more water carriers for drier conditions. These small adjustments accumulate into altered traditions. No one remains untouched because no systems operate in isolation. The Rhine's low waters delayed a shipment containing bicycle parts from Germany, which stalled a Dutch assembly plant, which raised prices at your local bike shop. The connections multiply endlessly. Your life interlinks with these mountains through countless visible and invisible threads. As the Alps transform, they demonstrate processes soon affecting other critical landscapes. Worldwide, Andean water shortages, Himalayan food disruptions, Rocky Mountain ecosystem collapses. The changes arriving first in Switzerland's mountains will eventually reach your doorstep through the same interconnected systems that now bring them indirectly. Alpine ice loss both reflects and accelerates planetary transformation, a warning written in meltwater flowing downstream to your tap, your table, your bank